Hi, good evening all of you. Okay, let us start with reading comprehension. First of all, let us define this topic. I hope that most of the celebrities now are on board. So welcome you once again, and today we shall be taking up reading comprehension. Brief about reading comprehension, important tricks related to 6 different types of questions and 1 or 2 practice passages. This would be the agenda of the day. Okay, reading comprehension. So consisting of 2 words, reading plus comprehension. Reading is your activity part. We read, and comprehension means understanding. It means understanding. Most of the students confuse this with RC means paragraph. RC passages, reading comprehension passages. So understanding. So we read something to understand. Why understanding is very important? Because immediately after we are done with our reading part, we shall be asked few questions. So that's why reading comprehension very important. Now if I talk about the importance of this section as far as your CLAT or hotel management or BBA these examinations are concerned, primarily minimum 30%. Out of 40 questions you will get 10 to 12 questions. 30 to 40%. Or at the max 50% verbal ability would be based on only RCs. So very important section, cannot miss it. You love this section, hate this section, but you cannot ignore this section. So we shall be taking up RCs. What exactly? We already have defined the word RC and question types and how to handle them. So word RC means reading comprehension. Most of us think that RC means Rajma Chawal. This is one of the North Indian delicacies. It is not Rajma Chawal today we are discussing reading comprehension. So it is an activity part, comprehension is understanding. This we already have taken. Now understanding RC. See, you want to score well in RCs. 2 things are very important. One is your speed, reading speed, and another is your accuracy. Unfortunately, these 2 are inversely proportional. You increase your speed, you will lose your accuracy, and you focus only on accuracy, you will not be able to complete the paper as such. So what should be the right speed and what should be the right accuracy? As far as our score is concerned, it is proportional to accuracy. The accurate we are, better our score will be. So accuracy should be at least 70, at the max 80%. We cannot go beyond 80% as far as RCs are concerned, because there is a little bit of subjectivity involved. What you think is right may not be the most appropriate one, and generally we are asked to pick up the most appropriate one. Speed, nothing to worry about the speed, but we all have 180 words per minute speed, but we need 250 words per minute. Nothing to worry about. 250 to 350 words per minute, sufficient enough to crack any good exam of +2 level. But primarily our focus should be on accuracy. Accuracy should be 70 to 80%. If it is consistently 50%, that means you haven't practiced enough. And if it is less than 30% consistently while solving RCs, you are getting 30%, you attempt 10 questions, you get 2 to 3 correct. That means some serious problem is there as far as your understanding or vocabulary level of vocabulary is concerned. That means आपको दवाई नहीं, आपको दुआओं की ज़रूरत है. Some serious problem is there. So that is called in quantified terms. Now, what all problems we face while solving RCs? 1 or 2 technical, 1 or 2 non-technical problem. I think problem number 1 is of boredom. Most of the students are not interested in reading whatsoever, especially RCs, because they think that it is kind of compulsive reading and they will not get any maza out of reading RCs. But point is, we are not reading RCs to get maza out of it. The point is, we have to get into good law school or business school or hotel management school, college. That's why we want to score more. So you have to avoid this. And how to avoid this? Keep your focus on your aim or goal right now, where you want to see yourself down the line 2 years, 3 years, 2 months from now onwards. Second is focus. We are not able to focus throughout. Let's say if we start the RC, first a couple of lines I'll be able to maintain my concentration strong enough to retain the stuff, but let's say after 13-14 odd lines I'll start losing my focus, and till the time I reach the end of the RC I generally forget whatever I have read. So to increase focus, it is proportional to your practice. You have to practice at least 2 RCs a day to be in touch with RCs. Am I clear, guys? Okay, let's move. And third is your vocabulary. I am assuming that you are working very hard on improving your vocabulary. So I am assuming that your vocabulary is good or excellent. At least it has to be above average to score well in RCs. No doubt vocabulary doesn't play important role in understanding the given RCs, but point is that if the given word or the set of words are related to the central idea of the RCs, then we are helpless, we are gone. We will not be able to understand because the keyword is the central idea, is based on central idea, and it will help a lot to understand the RCs, but my vocabulary is not up to the mark, so I'll not be able to understand. But this is not the major problem from my point of view. As far as I have seen in last couple of years, vocabulary is not the major hurdle. So what are the major hurdles? Let's see. Yes, 2 RCs daily, Keshav. So one, let's say I am not familiar with the stuff I am right now going through. For example, I am from science background and I am given one passage which is based on commerce or economics. Then it again would be a problem for me because I am not aware of the few words related to, commonly used words related to commerce or economics. For example, some of the science students, hardcore science students, believe that GDP is equal to group dance participation, and when I ask them to elaborate upon GDP, sir, GDP means group dance participation. And when I was in school, I used to participate a lot in these competitions. I have won many prizes. If you ask my personal dance form, favorite dance form, I love salsa very much. GDP means on the other hand gross domestic product, but they will correlate this to group dance participation. If your IQ, if your knowledge is GDP is equal to gross domestic group dance participation and not equal to GDP gross domestic product, then you will find a little or difficult to understand RC. Same for even science students, commerce students also. If they come across anything which is hardcore sciences, then though they will not be able to understand the given RCs well. So how to overcome this problem? So you need to familiarize yourself with different types of different subjects and commonly used words, and these words are called jargon. That is called technical vocabulary. Saima, the GDP means gross domestic product, whatever is produced in our country in terms of production of goods or services, the sum total in terms of money is called GDP. Am I clear, Saima? Okay, so second problem is the questions and the relevant tricks to handle different types of questions. So let's move ahead now. So these are different important questions, different types of questions that one can come across while solving RCs. So these are main idea based question, number 1, very important type. So second important type is inference. We shall be defining each one of them separately, and I'll be telling you very important tricks to handle these important types. Then we have third type is vocabulary based question. Fourth is direct or factual questions, and last is title based questions. So these are few important types that one generally come across. So let's handle these questions one by one. Now main idea. So first of all, let us define the main idea. I think we all know what the main idea is. Question can be asked in 2 or 3 ways. What is the main idea of the passage, central idea of the passage, primary idea of the passage, central theme of the passage, major concern, primary concern. all these are one or the another way to ask main idea based question. So but what is main idea? This we have to define. So what is main idea? First of all, few of the USPs, few of the characteristics. It runs throughout the passage. The main idea will run throughout the passage. For example, if you are watching horror movie, it will not be something like that first 15 minutes you saw terrible horror and after that it was hilarious comedy and you say that maza aa gaya boss horror movie dekh ke. It cannot be. The horror will run throughout. I'm not talking about Indian horror movies, I'm talking about Bollywood, Hollywood horror movies. And it is the point, another way of defining this word, it is the point around which the entire passage is moving, entire story, entire novel, entire passage is moving is called main idea. Third point is extremely important, extremely. It cannot be a fact or an example. Always keep in mind that main idea cannot be a fact or an example. For example, if I say let us talk about few planned cities of India, for example Chandigarh. Now Chandigarh is an example, so it cannot be a main idea of the passage. The main idea is that author was talking about few planned cities of India. So one of the tricks, it is generally found in the last line of the first paragraph or the first line of the last paragraph. Now you have to be very careful, attentive while reading RCs. We need to focus on the first and last line of the every paragraph. But generally you will find the main idea of the passage or the author, one and the same thing, in the last line of the first paragraph or the first line of the last paragraph. It cannot be a fact or an example. Am I clear till here? Just press yes if I am clear till here. Okay, let's move ahead. Now inference, the next very important question where we all commit mistakes while answering this particular type. This is called inference. Inference based question. First of all, let us define this word. It is always a conclusion about unknown on the basis of a given fact. So this line, underlined part, is very important. What is inference? If I talk about the Indianized version of this particular topic, this word, it is simply baaton ka matlab nikalna. One fact is there, one fact is given to me, and whatever different meanings I can derive, I can make out from these facts will all be inferences. And fortunately, we Indians are blessed in abundance as far as baaton ka matlab nikalna is concerned. No one can compete us when it is about baaton ka matlab nikalna. For example, if I say Raghav has started devoting 18 hours to crack CLAT, BBA, hotel management, etc. Raghav, am I correct? Or should I correct myself again? Raghav is saying this is, I need to correct myself. Okay, the new information is that Raghav has started giving 20 hours per day in order to crack the exams he will be taking on. So what we can tell about Raghav? Raghav is very focused. Raghav is very hard-working boy. Rest of us are hardly working. He is bound to smash. We shall be only to crack. We'll be able to crack only. He'll smash all the competitions. He's determined, focused, patient, and he is liked by all the people around. So whatever conclusions were drawn by us on the basis of this fact that he has started devoting 20 hours they were all inferences. Am I clear about inferences? So Raghav, how are you feeling right now? God bless you. You'll be able to crack all the competitions. Now let us take one more example to understand inference well. So would be again related to day-to-day situation. For example, now we have got let's say Sahil. If I say Sahil is billionaire in dollars, billionaire, no one is going to believe us because Sahil is also not able to digest this fact. How come I am a billionaire? But if I say Sahil has 400 Mercedes, Sahil has 700 choppers, Sahil purchased 300 islands last time, that too on cash. He doesn't take the money back and he says keep the change. साहिल के जो सर्वेंट्स हैं आपस में एक दूसरे को छोटी छोटी खुशियों के लिए जैगवार गिफ्ट कर देते हैं. If one says hi Raghu, take my jaguar. After all these facts, what we can make out that he is truly a billionaire. So this is an inference drawn on the basis of these facts. So Sahil, how are you feeling? अगर हम मिले तो पहचान लोगे because you are a billionaire now. Okay. Now Keshav is also interested that he should also be awarded something. Okay. So Keshav, now it's your turn. For example, Keshav, last point to make you understand about this inference. Now Keshav. Now one extremely beautiful, sweet voiced girl approaches Keshav and says, Keshav, तुम आज शाम को 4:30 बजे क्या कर रहे हो? केशव, मन में लड्डू फूटा. Same girl with the same extremely sweet voice. केशव, 4:30 बजे आपके आसपास कोई होगा तो नहीं? केशव, मन में दूसरा लड्डू फूटा. एंड हम जो केशव के फ्रेंड्स आसपास खड़े हैं, we will draw several meanings out of this episode. हो सकता है उस गर्ल को सिर्फ नोट्स लेने because she is also preparing for CLAT, hotel management, BB, etc. This is called inference, and we Indians are blessed in abundance as far as बातों का मतलब निकालना is concerned. Even we can draw the meaning without any बात in nazar. So Keshav, how are we feeling right now? खुशी के मारे बोल नहीं पा रहा है. He's so happy now. So coming back to the ground reality, Keshav. So inference is conclusion about unknown on the basis of given fact. So we cannot draw anything without any fact. Sumit, the first difference is of spellings. Okay. The second difference, the point you are asking. Next, inference is based on concrete facts. Judgment may or may not be based on concrete facts. It is purely your subjective opinion, which we call judgment. Zenith, okay, your name also. Definitely, I'll include your name in one of the types for sure. Judgment is subjective opinion. That is andaza, and inference is बातों का मतलब निकालना. Inference is a conclusion, something which is based on known or given facts. Judgment may or may not be based on. First of all, do not confuse judgment with the word you find in court, judges giving verdicts. That is verdict, faisla, that is judgment. One judgment is my judgment about this particular thing is that it is going to be like this. That is judgment is andaja, guesstimate. So these two are different. Am I clear, all of you? I am not talking about judgment given by the court, judgment given by the. So that is judgment. That is again an inference based on the given facts. For example, in most of the Hindi movies also, you might have come across, might have heard this. Okay, Adalat is natije pe pahunchi hai, given lights of evidences and facts that this person has committed this crime, so he should be given this sentence. So that is again in conclusion drawn on the basis of a given fact. That is inference, what we call judgment, given by the verdict given by the judge. But one judgment you are asking is opinion. Am I clear, guys? I'll definitely be talking about fact and inference also. There would be a session on verbal reasoning, and during verbal reasoning we shall be clarifying the difference between fact, inference and judgment. Nothing to worry about. Am I clear, Keshav? So right now today we shall be focusing on RCs. So what cannot be an answer to an inference based question? Now listen very carefully because we have got 3-4 passages also to practice. First of all, it should not be the restatement of any line from the passage. If it is restatement, it cannot be an answer to an inference based question. It should not be even direct line picked up from the passage. So these two are wrong option whenever we are solving inference based questions. So inference has to be something based on. It should not be direct line picked up from the passage, or it should not be restatement of one of the lines. Am I clear till here? Okay. Now guys, there is one small passage, few lines you can see on your screens. The great advantage of early rising is good start. Take 1 or 2 minutes, read this and just type your inferences that we can draw on the basis of this particular small passage, very small passage here. So are you reading or you're acting that you are reading? Okay, read. Done. So what different conclusions or what we call inferences that can be drawn on the basis of this small story? Write down, start typing. For example, in my mind, I can say that these people are able to progress more, those who rise early. Keshav, this is fact you are writing. This is already given, rise in early morning, but can be taken as partial inference. So in order to progress more, one should have a habit of rising early, then it can be taken. Okay Keshav, done. Rest of you, Sumit, this is already given. Is able to manage his work properly, but I can say that one who rises early would be able to complete much of the work, and he will still have some time left for his family. Benefits of early rising is the title. It cannot be an inference. Diksha, this would be a title, not the main idea. We shall be taking up this type also. So 3 or 4 inferences that can be drawn. Person is able to devote times to other leisure activities. For example, if you are interested in learning guitar or any hobby, and you are early riser, you will be able to complete your day's work within time, allotted time. You need not to spend overtime at your office or school or college. You will be able to do fine. These people are smarter, absolutely fine. Yes, they are smarter in comparison to people who rise late. Am I clear about inference? So these are all facts. Inference should not be the restatement of one of the already given line, and it should not be direct line already given in the passage. That's how we draw it. It has to be based on the given facts. So let's move on to the next type. Vocabulary based question. Generally this question is asked and the format is, what is the implied meaning of the word or a phrase or an idiom or a line? The answer to this should be as per the context of the passage instead of the literal meaning of the word. This we discussed yesterday also, the difference between contextual meaning and literal meaning. For example, if I write the word intense, so in how many different ways intense can be used? Now listen this very carefully. If I say the movie was quite intense, what do you mean by intense here? The movie was very, very intense. Now what do you mean by the word intense? It has very strong in terms of emotion, serious, yes, very heavy in terms of content. For example, now I am changing another sentence, using another sentence. We should all go for intense preparation if you want to crack any good exam. Now what's meaning has slightly changed. Now what is the contextual meaning of intense here? We should go for intense preparation rather than superficial preparation. Again, deep preparation. We should not leave anything and we should cover each and every topic. Yes, deeply involved and should not leave any stone unturned. Now the third example using intense. I am feeling intense pain in my stomach. Now what is the meaning of intense here? Yes, severe. It is severe. I am feeling severe pain in my stomach. So we have to read the given line where the word is given and we have to draw the meaning as per the context. It cannot be intense, always severe, or intense heat wave, that is severe heat wave. So it cannot be intense, always equal to severity. So sometimes it would be serious, sometimes it would be very deep in terms of, sometimes it would be comprehensive, means covering all the aspects. So we have to be we have to read the given line very carefully to do vocabulary based question, and we should get these question 110% correct. If we commit mistake in this, we will not be able to score well. Am I clear, guys? Okay, let's move ahead. Vocabulary based question. Now simple example exercise. Read this small paragraph and after this we shall be asked one vocabulary based question. Now read this. Take your time, because we have got second half of this passage also. This is first part you are seeing of this RC, small RC. After you are done with this slide, I'll move on to the next. Press yes if you are done with after reading. Okay, done. Nothing to worry. We shall definitely be giving all of you the recorded version of this lecture. Nothing to worry. This is the remaining half of this passage. So are you done with this remaining half also, guys? Press yes if you're done with. Okay, now let's move on to the question. So what we are meant by and what is meant by chewed and digested? So we have to answer this particular phrase. No, Zenith, it cannot be too. Chewed means you have to chew the thing and should be able to digest. You read something, you digest and eat. It has to be, you all are absolutely fine, thoroughly read and understood. Some books are meant to be chewed and digested. Some are meant to just browse. So some books are to be tasted only, others are to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested means should be properly understood. That is what you mean by this. Am I clear with this answer to this question, guys? Okay, move ahead. Now, tone of the this is one very important type, tone of the passage. Generally, what is tone? Tone is attitude of the author towards the subject discussed in the passage. For example, it is in what we call Urdu, lehja. We do have guys who can understand Urdu here. So lehja, किस लहजे में आप बात कर रहे हैं? That is called tone of the passage. Means attitude or the way author has treated the subject, or the treatment given by the subject by the author to the subject. For example, is author praising the subject? Is he criticizing the subject? Is he just analyzing the subject? So the way he has given the treatment, or the treatment given, is called the attitude. This is how we define this. Now I shall be asking few important tones and you have to answer the meaning, then I'll explain how to track these. Now if I write the tone of the author is critical, so guys tell me the meaning of the word critical. The tone of the author is critical. What do you mean by the word critical? Because generally we all know negative, this is only 50% meaning. Raghav, this is only 50%. Serious is again 50%. So critical means when author has taken positive as well as negative, it is called critical. For example, when any new movie is released on Friday, immediately during evening or in the evening you see critics on the television critically analyzing or highlighting the positives as well as negatives of the movie, and these people are called critic, and what they write or tell is called critique. Am I clear, guys? Critical, serious is one of the connotations. Okay. Next very important tone is, let's say if I write laudatory. All these are dictionary words actually, and you have got Google Auntie along with laudatory. Heard of this word before? Laudatory. Yes. If author is praising, it means praising. Now how will you know that author is praising someone? So this can be known by the adjectives he has used. Eulogizing also, laudatory also, exaltation also. Yes, only pros, and the kind of adjectives used by the author. Laudatory. And if I say the tone of the author is vitriolic, what do you mean with the word vitriolic? Yes, full of severe criticism. Another antonym would be acrimonious. All these are dictionary words. Means using very bitter remarks. Acidic, bitterness. Yes, this is called what you call vitriolic. I am writing another word now. If the tone of the author is conjectural, what do you mean by the word conjectural? Not thoughtful, but it is guessing. Author is guessing. And how will you know that author is guessing? Because he is guessing because he doesn't have any hold over the topic. And how will you know that he doesn't have any hold? You will see the use of may, might, may not be, might not be, etc. I feel like, I think like, frequently by the author. Because the author is not from this field upon which he is writing or he has written. Therefore, surmise is also guess. Conjectural is also guess, surmise is also guess. Surmise is also called evidence or fact. But one of the connotations, surmise is also guess. Nothing to worry. Opposite to this particular tone would be, is your, if I write the word authoritative. The tone of the author is authoritative. It means what? It means author has strong hold over the topic. He is actually from this particular area. And how will you come to know that the writing is authoritative? By looking at the jargon used. Jargon is technical vocabulary, field specific vocabulary, jargon used by the author. And these are the passages which we are able to understand only 40%. Yeah, language. Jargon is language related to any specific field. So in these kind of passages we only understand 40% in one go. then we have to read at least twice or thrice to understand these passages completely. So this is how we track the tone. Rest of the tones are very simple. Pessimism is not at all hopeful about the subject. Optimism is pretty hopeful about the subject. So these were few important tones that you will come across in your RCs. Let's try one question and try to identify the tone of the passage. So this is small passage again to identify the tone. Read this, take your time. First half of this passage. Shraddha, it cannot be authoritative because he will use very heavy words. If let's say had this been written by some scientist, so he would have used very difficult words, and it would these words are pretty difficult for us to understand. As far as we are concerned, we come in the category of layman. Okay, this is first half. This is second half of this passage. I'll show you the choices also. Then from the given choices, you have to select the answer. Sanguine is hopeful. He is hopeful. He is pretty hopeful. He is praising science. He is explaining that how come science and how science has helped a lot. This is first half. Achievement of science in 20th century has been very great. He is just describing, he is explaining how come science has laudatory. Yes, he is praising science, no doubt. Its influence can be felt in every sphere of life, from the small pins to needles to huge iron sheets and joints. Most of things we require on everyday use come out of factories where scientific principles are utilized for practical ends. Science has enabled man to bring forces of nature under control and to use them for his own advantage. Remaining half. It has brought the distant part of the world closer, that is transportation, communication. Our knowledge of the universe has been much widened on the account of untiring efforts of astronomers like Jeans and Eddington. Remarkable cures means we have touched almost every walk of our life, day-to-day activity. So now the tone. The tone of the passage is, now you have got four options: logical first, anatomical second, descriptive third, and expository first. Now how we trap you in these tone based questions. It is for sure that most of us will not be aware of the meaning of the word expository, and just to trap you, I have given very simple choice. Descriptive to the side of this word laudatory. Anatomical is related to anatomy of or physiology or chemical structure, physical structure of anything. So he is not described the physical as well as chemical structure of the science. So gone. He hasn't explained any rocket science or theory or scientific principle, so it is not logical. It has to be either third or fourth. But do we know the meaning of fourth? Guys, do we know the meaning of expository? Till now you have checked your Google auntie. Expository is explain, to explain. To explain. The answer tone here is expository, not descriptive. Now where do we use descriptive? Descriptive is used to describe particular subject or particular object. Here we are talking about explaining to the readers how come science has benefited us. Am I clear, guys? Expository is to explain. For example, descriptive generally is used or seen in your school textbooks where the purpose is to make you understand the things. Here the tone would not be inferential or critical. Means after teaching you any principle, or you read one of the pages of your textbook and at the end of the page you will find this word or phrase, पढ़ गई बेइज्जती, कराली बेइज्जती, पढ़ गई ठंड, haha, मजा नहीं आया, go home. You will not find these kind of lines at the end of the lesson. Simply we try to describe the things as much as possible so that it would be easier for the students of your age or of lower age to understand. Am I clear, guys? How come expository is right? Press yes if I am clear. Okay. Let's move on to now practice passages. Now these are tricky questions. Very easy, but you will get these questions wrong because of your overconfidence or over smartness, and excess of anything is bad. Now sometimes you are asked all of the following are not true except, means all of the following are false except, means we have to find out the right one. Or all of the following are not false, means all of the following are right except, here we have to find out the wrong one, false one. So we have to be extra careful about reading these questions, as these questions mean opposite to what has been asked. So these are direct questions and their answers are generally given in the passage. So we are not supposed to apply our brain to track their answers. One very important point you have to keep in mind: whenever you are in confusion, do not rely only on your memory. Go back to the passage to reconfirm, re-verify your answer, and try to find out the lines upon which you drew this or inference or the answer. Do not rely only on memories. Most of us, we are overconfident that generally whenever we read something, we are able to retain the stuff, and while answering the question we scan our mind. Okay, this should be something like this, this should be something like this. Rather than it takes only 30 to 40 seconds going back to the passage and reconfirm your answer, because this kind of T20 limited over match competitive entrance, one shot you are in or you are out. You will not be given any next year you will get the chance to appear again, but we don't want to take second chance. So best is do not make any silly mistake. Now title based. So another very important type, the question is asked, we are given one passage and we are asked to pick up the suitable title. Now the best answer should have following characteristics. The title should be catchy, short. First of all, it should not exceed 3 to 4 words. No, Aditya, do not read the question first, read the passage first. This is done only when I am left with only 1 or 2 minutes and still one passage is there. But given the time, read the passage. Try to understand first, read first and understand, then answer. Should go by the step. The title should be catchy enough to capture the attention of audience. For example, the title, if I say title is GDLJ, so it is for sure it will arouse my curiosity. This is something to do with romance. Dil wale duniya le jayenge. If title says Dar, it has to be first romantic flick, horror flick or suspense thriller. And very important point regarding the title is that it should be able to capture the essence of the content. Looking at the title only, I should be able to judge what kind of movie it would be, what kind of novel, what kind of passage it would be. Means it should reflect the main idea also. Am I clear, guys? The title based. Now listen this very carefully. The difference between title and main idea. Main idea should always be in the form of a sentence and title 3-4 words. But we do otherwise. Whenever we are asked the main idea of this passage, main idea is our economy, philosophy, sports. So main idea should always be in the form of idea, that is sentence and title. And whenever we are asked to provide suitable title, then we feel greatly honored that someone has admired our creativity, and we pick up so lengthy a title that it seems that it is never going to end. Have you found anything on a poster like there was a boy called Shah Rukh Khan met one of the girls Kajol, and उसमें बोलेगा कि 2 गाने और पोस्टर के ऊपर लिख दे, पूरा पिक्चर देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. So title has to be short, catchy, impressive, and should be able to capture the essence of the content. On the other hand, idea of the author should always be in the form of a sentence. We are not talking about our own idea, we are talking about the main idea of the passage or the author. Okay, moving on to the next what we have. Okay guys, now this is practice passage number 1. Take your time and we shall be solving 1 or 2 questions. I have picked up 3 or 4 passages. So right now passage 1A on your screen. Take your time. After you are done with this part, then we have remaining part of this passage on the next slide. Press yes if you are done with. Guys, if you are done with your first slide, and if you want to ask me the meaning of any particular word, you can write, you can type, I'll tell you. For example, appalling. You are carrying your Google Auntie, so nothing to worry about the appalling. Where is appalling? Appalling. Ground realities are really appalling. Appalling is shocking. And stringent is strict. Trudge is to move with difficulty, to push yourself. Trudge, travel. Here it would be travel, long distance to get the water. Yes, Shraddha, this is the first part of this passage. Should I move on to the next part, guys? Press yes if. Now this is the remaining half. Contaminate is to make something impure. Contamination, otherwise very commonly used word. If you are done with this, then we have another slide also. Remaining part of this passage. Are we done with this part of the passage, guys? Okay, if you are done with this, then this is the last part of this passage. Furor is anger, controversy. You are asking this. So furor is what Kola controversy has achieved is to deviate from 2 very real issues. first and second. So guys, are we done with this part also? Abysmal is bad, low, bad, of low quality or very low, poor quality, shocking quality. Okay, if we are done with this remaining part also, now the main idea. Now we have been asked which of the following represents the central idea of the passage. Choices are right in front of you, but it is see on the screen we cannot show you the entire passage once in single shot, so we have to divide. But let's see if you are able to retain the stuff. We'll go back to the passage to find the answer. See, central idea is what author is trying to put across, convey through his article writing, and generally we find this in the last para first few lines or the first para last few lines. There should be policy, seems to be close but not the right answer. It's not completely right. Yes, it is third. I'll go back to the passage to reconfirm my answer. Third is the right answer. Now how come third is correct? Last paragraph. Whatever the figure, what Cola controversy has achieved to divert a debate from two very real issues. The first, already mentioned, is the low quality of the water. Last paragraph, first line. The second, first of all, you are talking about the quality of water. Second is, now how come your second is correct, not the correct option? It says the second is National Policy on Pesticide Fungicide Usage, defined limit of permissible contaminants. See, second, whatever is given at second position cannot be the primary or the main point. From this second word, I could have rejected the answer option, which was apparently looking very close. There should be a policy. This is wrong. This is second point, one of the points. It is not the main. What this Cola controversy has done, it has diverted our attention from the real issue. One, the contamination. Second, the permissible use of contaminants in pesticides or etc. such chemicals in our food stuff. So it has diverted our attention from two major issues. This was what was author trying to portray. Am I clear, guys? Press yes if I am. Okay, let's move on to the next passage. So which are the next questions on the same passage? Which of the following can be inferred? Inference is something which is based on. It should not be a direct line. It should not be irrelevant to the given passage. It should not be restatement of one of the lines. Check and we will go back to the passage to reconfirm our answer. Nothing to worry about, because in real exam you will find passage and questions written together. This is one of the limitations while teaching RCs. On screen we cannot show you the Shraddha. It cannot be one. There is no talk of contamination in water because it affects only the poor. There is no mention of that whether it affects poor or rich people. So this is gone. This is wrong. It has to be 4. As per the last few lines, fourth option is right. Yes, Shraddha, it is 4. Zenith, you are correct. Sumit, you are correct. Keshav, you are correct. And other. Now from upon which particular line we have drawn? So from this line, that seems like an awfully small quantity, so one needs to know whether 1 bottle per day is harmful or 10 bottle or 100. Means what can be drawn, we can make out, what can be inferred, that we do not know actually the amount of contaminant which is harmful. That is what fourth option is talking about. So that's why it's the right answer. Should we move on to next? Next passage is this. Take your time. This is again divided into 2 or 3 slides. So focus, concentrate, read. So after you are done with this, do not forget to press yes or done. So while reading, you have to be a little more attentive. For example, it opens with, would you be happier if you were richer? Many people believe that they would be. Now we see but. But means author doesn't agree. From but you find author's opinion on this particular question. So every word has got weightage. Let's say, okay, take your time, guys. Nothing to worry about. You have got time. Guys, we are all done with this particular part of this passage. Okay. If it is yeah, then move on to the next part. Second part of this passage. Very important line. So rich people are not happy. They spent most of the time thinking negative. Thank you, Shraddha. This just to teach us, remind us that money has got only little importance, is not everything. Money is not life. Life is life and money is just. Think about your college in which you want to take admission. Things would be pretty fine. Think about your goal. So are we done with this remaining part also, guys? Okay, Shomik done, Shaima, Shivanshi, Shraddha, okay, Anjani, yes. Okay, let's move on to this is literally the remaining part, last part, very important line. So very important line, people are not able to understand this, very interesting ending. So if I read out this line for you, even Adam Smith, who told us that it is not from butcher's kind-heartedness that we get our dinner. He doesn't kill the animal so as to feed our stomach. Why? But he also wants to earn a livelihood, therefore he kills someone to feed our stomach. Nevertheless, there is something paradoxical. Paradoxical means you are killing someone so as to save someone from dying of hunger. So last says, why do government all focus on increasing per capita national income? Why do so many of us strive is try to obtain more money if it is not going to make us happy? So don't worry about money, guys. Focus on your life and your aims. Money should not be the sole criteria of getting into good any school. Let us check the question. Now the question based on this passage, guys, what is the paradox between surveys of happiness as mentioned in the passage? Surveys of happiness. Okay guys, Shraddha has given option 4. What about rest of the guys? Keshav also following Shraddha's footstep. Shivanshi is also 4. I could have done this question correct without even reading the passage. Let's see how. We have been asked paradox related to survey of happiness. We have got only 2 choices representing paradoxes. Paradox 1 and 4. Because we see the contrast word but here and but here only. These 2 are not simply representing any paradox. So answer has to be either option number 1 or option number 4. But 4th has nothing to do with any kind of happiness. It is talking about some benevolence and he is killing someone to feed our stomach. So this is, 1 is about happiness. But as per the passage also, people say that they are satisfied with their lives. This is paradox, but spend most of the time thinking negative. If you are earning well and you are satisfied with your life, but you are still thinking most of the time negative, that is called paradox. This is paradox the writer hasn't able to figure out yet. Am I clear? The answer, this is 4th is wrong. Answer has to be 1. Am I clear, guys? Even without reading the passage, I could have answered this question. So let's move on to the next. If passage is taken from larger article, what will come after the passage? Now to answer this question, we have to focus on the last line. Last line say, why do so many of us try to obtain more money if it is not going to make us happy? The next question, relevant question would be, then what are the things that will make us happy? If we are able to anticipate this, then let's go back to the question again. Now tell me the answer option. So if passage is taken from the larger, yes, it has to be 2. 3rd seems to be very close option, but this should be this is actually the conclusion of the passage. It is not going to extend the passage. We are asked that what will extend, which particular line will extend. So 2. Okay, one more passage. I think this should be the last or second last passage. Nothing to worry. Keep your spirits high. Be positive. जो आया है जाएगा. Lecture has started. Lecture शुरू हुआ खत्म भी होगा. This is first part of this passage C. Take your time. After you're done with reading, press yes or done. Okay guys, are we done with this part, reading part? Tandem, in conjunction or in association, together. Tandem is together. Okay guys, are we done with this? The economic and political history of last 25 years revealed that symbiotic means mutually beneficial relation between home state and multinational corporation. For example, the very clear example which we all can recall is East India Company came to from Great Britain. They came to India to do business, and finally they took the help of Queen Victoria to overtake India. There are so many examples. So we are done with this part of the RC. Move on to the next part of this same RC, passage C. This is the last part. Hegemony, difficult word. Yes, hegemony is dominance. So when East India Company found it very difficult to managed political administration of India, Queen intervened and took over India. Again, in recent times, when Anglo-Saxon company failed to gain control in Kuwait and Iraq oil resources, British and US forces invaded. The overall essence of this passage is whenever any company is facing any problem, administrative or any problem, they go to their parent country, government, and they request. And government, along with its military power, attack the country and take over so as to spread the business of this multinational corporation. Anglo-Saxon means British or British origin, British or American origin. So this is hence developed country could retain their dominance. So that they use monetary fund, etc., voting rights of the nations. They've got so many tools so as to maintain their dominance. Okay, the question now based on the passage. So guys, I again could have done this question without reading this passage. See the Jadu part of this. Which of the following best exemplifies? There is only one example out of these 5 choices. Answer should be one. Rest all are explanatory part, or they are explaining how come there is mutually beneficial relationship between MNC multinational corporation and their home countries. These all are just explanations. These are only 2 examples. Okay, next question or next passage probably. So by what mechanism did the developed countries retain their dominance on IMF, International Monetary Fund and World Bank? They try to link last line. Let's go back to the last line of the passage. You will find the direct answer there. So they established multilateral bodies like International Monetary Funds, World Bank, because in fund organization structure, voting right of the nation were linked to their economic conditions of respective nations. Hence, developed country could retain their hegemony. So now let's go back to the question again. The answer is, yes guys, answer not by working in tandem. 2 is wrong. It is 3. By linking voting rights. Absolutely fine. You all are born genius. You can never go wrong. Absolutely sorry. This is last passage. Passage D for Delhi. Last passage of the day. We shall be winding up. It has been a long journey for us. Very important line. Journey means you want to read somewhere. Muhammad Yunus. Yes, this is about Muhammad Yunus. He started this organization by the name of Grameen Bank. Yes, Sumit, your GK is up to the mark. What is the secret of your good GK? Okay, are we done with this part of the RC? Yes guys, press yes if we are done with the reading part. Okay, let's move on to the next half of the passage. Okay, this is literally the last passage. We have reached the end of the session. Just focus for 3 or 4 minutes. So guys, are we done with this reading part? In nutshell, the passage is that some of the people, poorest of poor in Bangladesh, were trapped by moneylender by offering them $27. Now these 42 people, poorest of poorest people from this village, were not able to return the money, and this guy helped them, the economic professor helped them in freeing them from the clutches of moneylender. This is the last, literally it is the last part of this passage. So yes guys, are we done with this remaining part also? Done with this slide? Okay, let's solve the question based on a suitable title for this passage would be, yes, it has to be, title should be catchy, impressive, should be able to capture the essence of the content. So it has to be the genesis of Grameen Bank. It has to be 4th. It cannot be autobiography of armchair. We don't know whether he was an armchair economist or not. My experiment with truth, he was not experimenting with, he really helped these people, and he was not vicious cycle of poverty has been discussed. It is vicious cycle of money lending, not poverty. So therefore 4th. Let's see what we are left with. So this was the last slide, title based question. I hope first of all, thank you all for tolerating me, bearing me for 1.5 hours or so. I hope we gained a little from this session, and we learned a few tricks to solve different types of questions. So yes or no guys, were you aware of these tricks earlier before joining this session, taking this session? So but for sure you will get the recording of this session, and whatever you want to listen again, you just watch the video again, and hope so that these tricks will help you in getting closer to your dream college. And see you next time around, and all the best. Enjoy the turbulent weather here and there also. See you guys. Bye.